Thanks for staying with us at Breakfast Central. Now, despite being inactive for over 40 years, the Ajaokuta Steel Company has received 38.9 billion naira in salaries and allowances for its workers between 2014 and 2024. Now, the Punch newspaper recently made a report that the company, which has not produced a single piece of steel since its inception, continues to receive substantial annual budget allocations actually from the government.
Now, experts have described the situation as a waste of resources and called for privatization or public-private partnership to revamp the company. The federal government has also announced plans to revive the steel mill, but no progress has been made. Lawmakers have questioned the justification for continued payment of salaries to workers who are not producing anything. Joining us is the Executive Director, Global Peace and Life Rescue Initiative, Melvin Ejeh. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. This is a project that has outlived about 16 presidents. This is a 40-year-long project that, it's one of the biggest stains, in my opinion, in Nigeria's history. The fact that we have this project that has not produced one sheet of steel since inception. Is there any justification for, the fact that we're still paying salaries running into billions of naira in 2024?
Away from that, let me use this opportunity to share my thought on the humanity crisis in Benue State right now. Let me condemn the barbaric attack yesterday in Iguma community of Ogule in Agatu local government area, where the entire community were sacked from their home. As I speak to you now, there is no house standing in that community, and people are very comfortable moving freely and talking about their normal businesses around Abuja. I think it's high time the government need to act more responsibly, more proactive to ensure that these headers are brought to the book. While I must say the criminal Fulanis are very few, there are very good Fulanis who actually want peace in the country. These criminals must be shown their way out of our community. People are already hungry. People are already going through a lot in this country. So there's no reason why you enter into a community and sack people, women and children, leaving them in a devastating effect of this hardship. The country is already very hard. So this act of sacking communities in Benue State, around Agatu local government, around Apa local government should stop henceforth. The security need to be on top of that. Told the military, the Operation White Stroke, the Nigerian police need to wake up from their slumber and attack this issue squarely. Thank you. Let me go to your question of Ajaokuta Steel Mill. I don't think I want to blame the workers because it is not their responsibility to sack themselves. They cannot resign, of course. If they are getting free salaries, of course they should continue working. The government who ought to know what to do is not doing the right thing, because you can't keep people who are not working forever. For 10 years, you kept them there and you're paying them salary. For me, I think that they are using these workers as conduit pipe. But I don't blame them for taking salary. If government pay them, they should take salary. Because me, if the government pay me, if government pay me, I'm going to take salary. If they have been there, it's not like they don't want to work. They want to work, but they don't have the needed equipment. The steel is moribund. So what are they going to do? They don't have the funds to revive the moribund steel. It is not the workers' fault. The fault lies squarely on the part of the government. For me, one of the reasons they are still paying them today, one of the reasons they are still funding Ajaokuta Steel Mill is because that place is a conduit pipe. Some people are using it as cash cow to make their money against the current situation in Nigeria. So government must look into that issue critically. But I don't blame the workers. The workers should take the salary and continue to rejoice. It's not their fault.
All right. Let's take a look at, sometimes it's good to have in comparison what other steel manufacturing or other companies are doing outside of Nigeria. Let's take a look at the Steel Authority of India, commissioned just 6 years before the Ajaokuta Steel Company was commissioned, 1973, and Ajaokuta Steel Company, 1979. And as we speak till today, SAIL continues to exist. If we look at the numbers, the figures of what it was, it has produced and what it was said to have brought in 2022, 2023, we're talking about close to about $18.29 million. Imagine injecting this into the economy and so on. Now, back to the Ajaokuta. We have other countries who equally have their steel working. Can you in any way share with us, is there any reason why Nigeria seems not to get it right, especially with companies that are under a government's purview? is there any reason why we don't get it right? We have a similar instance with NITEL, and then moving to MTEL and so on and so forth. And here is also Ajaokuta. Is there something that we're not really doing well that the leaders need to take note of?
I think you just said it all. The problem we have in Nigeria is perennial corruption. We have ardent corrupt officials in Nigerian government. I don't think up to the moment they have stopped. If we tackle corruption, we would have tackled 70% of Nigerian problem. We have all the know-how, we have all the human resources, we have all the natural resources, we have all the brains in Nigeria. When you go out of this country, you see the best brains you see everywhere, even the steel industries and Nigeria, medical industries and Nigeria. So what we have in Nigeria is mismanagement of the highest order. It's public officers who have been very, very irresponsible over the year. It didn't start from Tinubu's government, in fairness to him. From successive governments have continued to use the Ajaokuta steel mill as conduit pipe. They will injecting money, nothing will happen there. Injecting money year in and out. So I think what we have there is corruption. Government need to focus in its interest in that very place to ensure that we begin to produce this steel. Nigeria is going down on a daily basis. That company alone can inject a lot of money in Nigeria and even Africa. But some persons have turned into their cash cow. The Nigerian government need to totally overhaul Ajaokuta steel mill. So the major issue why government companies don't work is because it's corruption. There is no patriotism. People don't take it very serious. People don't look at it as their private property. If you look at the companies that are functioning today in Nigeria, they are private-owned companies. So government in Nigeria should have no business in doing business. And if they do, it should be manned by people of integrity. It should be closely watched by anti-graft agencies. It should be closely watched by people who have business in such sector. You can't bring an environmentalist to go and head Ajaokuta steel mill. Sometimes, instead of appointing the right guys, we appoint people based on political consideration. So I think government need to be deliberate about it. Government need to set the issue of corruption. Government need to also work on the issue of putting square peg in square holes.
Yeah. I mean, square pegs and square holes, that's an important point, and I think that even transcends beyond Ajaokuta in the whole political space in Nigeria. But we keep hearing promises with regards to reviving Ajaokuta Steel. Former President Muhammadu Buhari made the same promises. When he was leaving office, it was regarded as one of his failed promises. And of course, they said that they will move on to the next president to hopefully put it to work. You've stated that government needs the hands off. Would you advise the current administration to privatize the Ajaokuta Steel project as a better way to handle that project? Or at this point, do we, simply just let it go?
We have made too much investment to let it go. We have made too much investment. Nigeria has spent billions of dollars in that steel mill. So I think if I want to advise government is to give it to private owners, get investors from outside the country, get professionals from the steel industry, and privatize it. Let private sectors take over that business. I want to assure you that in 1 year it will be up and Nigeria will start producing steel. What is wrong with Nigeria for crying out loud? We have no business in Ajaokuta steel mill. I think President Tinubu should stop spending money henceforth on Ajaokuta steel mill and get experts from abroad, get experts within Nigeria to sell that company or privatize it so that Nigerian can begin to get some revenues from that very place. Enough of this nonsense that we call injecting money into Ajaokuta steel mill on a daily basis. For me, I will insist that has become a cash cow. That has become a conduit pipe for some ministries. That has become a conduit pipe for some government functionaries. Every government that is campaigning in Nigeria today, every president wants to come in with Ajaokuta steel to campaign. And as they leave, the place will still be moribund. So I think this scam is okay. They should get people who know how to do the business from abroad, from Nigeria, from every continent in the world to man Ajaokuta steel mill. We need to begin to make money from that place. We need to get more jobs. If Ajaokuta steel mill is working, more than 10,000 graduates can begin to have jobs in Nigeria. So my personal opinion is that it should be privatized. It should be given to people who actually knows about steel, people who actually have interest of steel, people who will manage a company like theirs, and they will take very good care of it. Until that is done, we'll continue to rigmarole on this Ajaokuta steel mill until maybe Nigeria finishes.
That rigmarole part is what a lot of Nigerians will not want to hear, especially on a Monday morning like this when the economy is faced with steep challenges. But let's look at accountability. Let's also look at the anti-graft agency. Many have wondered why the anti-graft agency is not beaming its torchlight, especially to where it ought to. Looking at the fact that the Ajaokuta Steel has been in existence and has been moribund for a long time, one would ordinarily think that by now heads would roll, as it were. What's your take on the anti-graft agency accountability and, most importantly, what the present administration had promised, just like the previous one, that once they get in, they would ensure that there will be no room for anyone who has committed any form of crime or stealing?
Well, that's a very huge promise, but I think it's very almost impossible in Nigeria for the corruption to be tackled overnight. It's very impossible, even though it's doable, but I think it's possible because it has eaten deep into the fabric of society in Nigeria. The problem we have majorly are some of these civil servants. For me, I prefer to call some of them evil servants. They are not civil servants. They are evil servants because some of them are thieves. They will steal so neatly that even if anti-graft agency beaming the satellite, it will be difficult to trace these things. Yes, it's possible. The graph guys can go in and really do a lot there. But some of them are so used to systematic stealing, systematic corruption. So it is even difficult to trace some of the theft. Like this kind of moribund Ajaokuta Steel Mill. It's very unfortunate that EFCC and ICPC have not clamped down on the spending. They should probe it from 1999. Even if they're not probing from 1979, they should probe in funds that have gone in. And I want to assure you that several heads will roll. But will Nigerians do it? Who are involved? Who will have the guts to do it? Who will have the guts to arrest those who have stolen our money? The monies that have gone into Ajaokuta Steel Mill alone, it's enough to revive the entire Nigerian economy. We are losing these monies on a daily basis. And President Tinubu is about spending another money. He just spent another money in paying worker salary. For me, I don't blame worker salary because the workers are there. They are not being laid off. They have families like you and I. They have their uncles, their aunties, their fathers. Of course, they should be paid. If government have not laid them off, if the company is not working, and government have not laid them off, they should be paid. They deserve their wage. They should be paid. It's not their fault that the company is not functioning. So I think Mr. President should hands off Ajaokuta Steel Mill and give it to private individuals to manage. Give it to private sectors to manage. Now, the president needs to know about this. Nigerians are tired of hearing that name Ajaokuta Steel Mill on a daily basis. We have continued to rigmarole. We have continued to move from one point to the same point, one point to the same point since 1979. Enough of this coming Ajaokuta Steel Mill. So Nigerian needs to beg the president to hands off from the steel mill and give it to individuals, companies that are professionals in this steel mill. I don't think we should spend any dime on Ajaokuta Steel Mill again. And I'm calling on anti-graft agencies to beam the satellite in that sector. They must beam the satellite in Ministry of Steel. They must begin to look at the officials who are money from 1999, money that have gone in, and they should probe it. We need to begin to provide Ajaokuta Steel Mill because enough of this nonsense, enough of this stealing, enough of this corruption.
Well, Mr. Melvin Ejeh, there's also arguments that the idea of reviving the steel complex may not even be necessary anymore because at first, one of the reasons that it didn't work was because it was poorly planned. There was issues with the planning and setting it up in Ajaokuta in the first place. The availability of raw materials, transportation, and those rail lines that were initially set up, some of all those things were poorly planned. So, and then also, I think I saw a report, from 2022 that the quality of iron ore that is available in Nigeria may not even be up to standard anymore. Do you think that those are things that we must consider if we're going forward with the project?
Yeah, while we are considering that, we should also know that we still have good quality of iron ore in Nigeria. I disagree. I also have a lot of experience in mining. We have a lot of iron ores in Nigeria, very quality ones. In fact, when we take our iron ores out of the country, it's one of the best. So I do not agree with some of those school of thoughts. I have interest in mining, and I think I know about mining. That is not correct. However, if you're talking about the planning, how the rail, the planning, transportation, all of that, Nigerians should look into it. Give it to a private investor. He knows what to do with it. Even if it's not going to serve as a steel mill, it can serve as something. My first point is that give it to a private investor who is grounded in that area, who is grounded in managing resources, in managing companies. I tell you, they will turn it around. So the issue of whether it was properly planned, it may be true because maybe it was done easily to score political points at that very time. But these things can be looked into. These things can be addressed. These things can actually be restructured and will get back the company back. Even if we're not producing iron ore, there are a lot of iron steel. There are a lot of things we can do from Ajaokuta Steel Mill. It's not just the iron, the steel. There are a lot of things we can do from that company. It is meant to be multidimensional. It is meant to function multiply. So it can do other things apart from the steel. So I think the company first should get to work. The company first should begin to produce something. Nigeria needs to begin to produce something with that place. Give it to an investor, give it to a professional to man that place. This is my point, and I'll keep on repeating it.
All right. Well, let's see, if the current administration thinks in that direction as well. Like you said, a lot of them use these things to score political points while campaigning and whatnot. The present administration did it. They've been doing it for a long time. And it seems to be a conduit pipe where billions and billions of naira just continue to be washed away. Melvin Ejeh, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We look forward to speaking with you again. And of course, we'll highlight the issues with insecurity in Benue State. I'm happy that you started with it. Those lives absolutely matter. I don't think it's even made headlines this morning. But thanks for bringing it up.
Nobody cares about it.
Yeah, very unfortunate. We will highlight that, and of course, if we maybe we schedule a separate conversation for you to join us and speak about that.
Thank you. I'll be happy because that area has been under siege for more than 1 month now.
All right. Thanks a lot. See you again.